All right.
Got the crowd popping off as we get right into it.
The crowd's feeling it already right here. Definitely some fan favorites playing out there in a lot of these players. So let's see what we got here. We've got Mom's Cold Spaghetti in the blue. We've got Team Beer in the yellow. We're going to open it up right here on Clam Blitz Kelp Dome. We do see that so far Team Beers elect to put 3 players pretty much close to each other on that left side. One of them is going up the top mid, but it's going to be taken down right away there by Pixar. And so far, Pixar's in a pretty bad position, goes down himself, and it seems to be going back and forth so far.
Immediate picks left and right now it looks like Team Beer just trying to establish a little bit of control of the ink on the opposing side, see if they can have a little bit of those walkways available to them. An interesting note about Kelp Dome is how a lot of the map control has to do on areas where you can't ink. A lot of the control over those walkways is going to be pivotal to these teams having a lot more venues of being able to move around. We see the inkjet pop, we see Bubbler going, and Team Beer's trying to get some sort of push, see if they can get through that chokehold.
Yeah, so far right here, Keta's trying to make something happen with that inkjet. Isn't possible at the moment, but I believe they've got a bomb rush to counter those bubbles right there, trying to pop them, make sure none of their teammates go down. Spot one off behind them, able to take them out, but not before one of their teammates goes down. They're going to elect for some type of bowler jump right now. That's going to allow them to score in at least one power clam.
And as soon as Sudas saw that one of his teammates was coming into him, he managed to go forward, defend the chokehold, pick off someone who was trying to flank on them. However, the jump did not lead to any lead right now.
I believe actually the player who was jumping died before they were able to complete the jump, so that's going to be kind of a reset right there for them, and they're going to be having to be pushed back towards this right area here, so that wasn't a pretty successful push. Although they still have a bunch of clams to work with, they're going down now.
Even though the power clam is established for Team Beer right now, they can't quite get it into the net, regardless of how close it is. It's sitting right there, but Mom's Cold Spaghetti refuses to let it go.
Right now, Mom's Cold Spaghetti trying to get back into mid. Quickly picked off, though, by BSME right there and the rest of his team. Now they're trying to make another power clam. They've got enough clams throughout it from everybody on their team, but I don't know if someone has established yet exactly who has what amount of clams. It seems to be spread out amongst them. Someone needs to form this up. They've got one player with 9 small clams rather, and trying to make a push, but kind of came a little bit too late.
Yeah, we saw a quick overview of the map, and right now it looks like ink is fairly even controlled. And even though things look a bit more yellow on the map, Mom's Cold Spaghetti has been doing a very good job of making sure that every defensible way that they have through their side of the map to their net is blue. They have tight control over ink, so while it's going to be very difficult for them to reverse the situation into a more offensive push, right now they're bunkering down very well. It's going to be a bit difficult for Team Beer to make the push happen, but they're going for the jump, and the dunks are successful. Look at that point lead.
Yeah, the bowler definitely allowed both of those players to come in off of it and score pretty effectively right there. Tudos is going to be forced out, but his bowler got the job done. He's pretty happy with that. They've got the first strong push of the game, and you were saying it, that 50 or 60 critical point is kind of very effective in Clam Blitz, and now that puts the pressure on Mom's Cold Spaghetti to come back into this one.
Now, we saw how well Mom's Cold Spaghetti was able to play defensively. We got to see if they could turn that around and play equally on an offensive manner. We already know that Team Beer has ink well established, and center stage is looking all yellow. They have total control over it, and they already have a power clam trying to move forward.
Yeah, right now that bomb rush is going to allow them to try and push forward. They're trying to get past it, do that baller play once again, but it's stopped by the splash wall and the umbrella right there. They do manage to get a jump in. That might be a score for them. I believe it is. Yeah, but they don't have any clams really to back up it right now, as most of them are going down. That was a pretty successful hold, considering that Team Beer wasted kind of a lot of specials on that push.
Yeah, one thing that we've noticed is that while the specials haven't been well organized from Team Beer, they do have a consistent game plan as to who needs to do what. Every time the camera moves towards the action, we constantly see it's Tudas who's able to push through the defenses of Mom's Cold Spaghetti, and that small leak in their defenses is what's allowing Team Beer to maintain the pressure on them and keep this battle on the blue side of the map.
Yeah, right now, once again, they're pushed up into their spawn, kind of. Here's BSME trying to make something happen. He's almost got that bubble at the ready, so he's probably going to be electing to push with that fairly soon. Once his team maybe gets a power clam, they'll have the bubbles and maybe even some other specials like this bomb rush that's going to be coming out soon for them as well. Inkjet popped right now. They're going to be pushing up into the spawn, but do they have a power clam? Yes, they do, and that's going to be trying to push forward, but so far seems like Mom's Cold Spaghetti is able to hold out for the moment.
And even though they do have a power clam, they have no opportunity to try and flank and move that around. We see yellow team try to move in with the ball, and there we go. We have the break and a little bit of a point gain right now. However, no other clams on Team Beer's side. or at least in position to go further into the net. So it seems like that's all they're going to be able to do. Mozzie trying to move forward, trying to make something with this clam. However, we already see Team Beer converging right on it.
Yeah, right there. They had the power clam at the ready. Not too much time left on there, so they probably couldn't even pass it off to a teammate. But that was going to get them spotted right there. The flank was stopped, and so far it seems like Team Beer is cleaning up house right now as they're trying to finish off right now. 1v1 up against this Splatling, but seems like the Splatling's getting the upper hand. They're going to be able to keep this alive for the moment, but no one near that power clam. Most of them going down. This is probably Team Beer's game.
Well, both teams holding a power climb, but they're able to drop it left from that side. Team Beer going to manage to take a rather convincing game 1.
Yeah, Team Beer definitely looked like the stronger team, at least on Clam Blitz. And that might suit well for them because we did mention that Game 5 is going to be Clam Blitz as well if it gets that far. So establishing themselves as the early successor and advantage in Clam Blitz is going to help them out later. So definitely feeling themselves right now as we move on to, we mentioned it right here, Splat Zones Camp Trickfish. It's a little bit of a tricky map going into this one. So we're going to see how they elect to do that because very different from Clam Blitz. I don't think it's going to work out too well if they elect with the same comp.
Absolutely. And if there's one way that I had to describe Team Beer's play in that game 1, it would be confident. We saw their play was a little bit messy. They weren't very well organized in their special play, and a lot of their pushes were a bit haphazard, but nonetheless, they still managed to maintain a lot of that aggressive momentum, and Mom's Cold Spaghetti really couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah, Mom's Cold Spaghetti, for lack of a better term, was pretty cold throughout that whole game right there. So they're going to have to try and heat things up going into this next one. Definitely, at least for Team Beer, they're going to need some range on this weapon, on this map in particular. That's going to allow them to shoot on into the other side of the map, defend from both sides, because you need at least the one player that's going to be on your side of the map in your zone pushing up as well and helping the other side as they push into, because that's going to allow them to push forward and move in and paint in onto that zone. So let's see what they elect to do here. I'm convinced at least maybe one Rapid Blast. I know Sammy's a big fan of that weapon.
Yeah, it's a fairly safe assumption that we're going to be seeing a Rapid Blaster coming into this, I would think, from both sides, just because it's going to provide a lot of range, and the splash damage from the Rapid Blaster is going to allow for a lot of consistent fire. And given the cover that's around the splat zones on both sides for Camp Triggerfish, it's going to allow for a lot more even-sided firefights. And also, on that note of the cover that's on this map, I feel like we could probably see Slosher, whether it's the Deco or not, remains to be seen. And while I don't think a Charger would be making its appearance, I feel like some type of long-ranged shooter could make an appearance, just because if you manage the high ground, it's going to be a lot easier to control both sides of Camp Triggerfish, and controlling both sides feels going to be the key aspect.
Yeah, right there. We see the long-range shooter in the Custom Jet Sculpture with the mix of the Rapid Blaster Pro over there for Team Beer. So they definitely have a bit of a range advantage coming in if they're defending from their spawn. But look at it on the other side. They've got a Splatling and a Rapid Blaster Pro of their own. So they're able to match that up pretty well. It's maybe going to come down to those tricky 1v1s and 2v2 situations.
And I feel like the choice in weaponry is something to be said about both teams, where Mom's Cold Spaghetti offers a lot of that range control that we were just discussing, but more in favor of ink control and being able to test space. Team Beer is a lot more aggressively oriented for being able to go for picks and being able to have a lot more focused fire. If they're able to organize that behind game plays for taking sides of the map, I feel like the control is going to be sitting in a lot heavily towards Team Beer's favor.
Yeah, right there. We do see BSME and Tudos were kind of pressured right there, but B calls it out, tells Tudos to aim his Stingray in that direction, and it's going to work out for them pretty well so far. Here's what I was talking about. Tudos on that long-range custom Jet Sculpture is able to shoot up onto this side and help them defend from here if necessary. So looking pretty good for them, and they're able to push forward. This is getting down into the early 40s so far, and Team Beer's looking pretty good.
This is an incredibly dangerous situation for Mom's Cold Spaghetti to be sitting in right now. Now that the battle has moved itself past their side of the point to control, they're sitting with Team Beer down their throats. They're already at the spawn point. They have to push onto their own side of the map. It's such a heavy lead that was garnered for Team Beer, but they're sitting on 62 penalty points right now. It's going to be a bit for them to be able to pick this up, and that could be the opportunity that Mom's Cold Spaghetti needs to sort of pick themselves up and reacquaint themselves with the map.
Yeah, and especially since it's a two-zone map, it can be hard to get both zones at the same time and come back into a strong lead like Team Beer has established. But so far, it does seem like Mom's Cold Spaghetti finally getting hot in this one, trying to make something happen, as maybe BSME looking to get some type of flank going. If he's able to get this, that's going to be the zones for them. And so far, working out for Team Beer. That was a quick turnaround.
Yeah, with penalties on both sides right now, this team here looking to see if they can reassert themselves onto this map. Going for a lot more individualized combat. We sort of see the 2v1s, the 1v1s, and once again, not well organized specials. It's just sort of an every man for themselves kind of situation. But Team Beer's players have been organizing themselves well in that aspect as to where to control these fights.
Yeah, and we saw it right there. Even though maybe on that 10-attack splatter shot, BSME doesn't really have the longest range, he was able to help the other side with that inkjet, move across onto their side. So that was able to maybe push out a couple of the members on Mom's Cold Spaghetti. Once again, BSME and Tudo seem to be pretty much in control of their zone this entire game for the most part, and they're kind of the backbone so far, I think, of this unit. They haven't really folded under the pressure.
They've been doing a fantastic job of being able to lay down the support line for their frontliners, being able to sort of establish at least a safety ground for them to consistently fight back and be victorious, and also allow the rest to fall back, whether or not we've got jumps, whether or not we're trying to organize play. Things are looking very good for Team Beer, especially as they managed to clock down the rest of those penalty points, already sitting at less than 10. Going to be able to very quickly get into that point where they can establish their own point leads, and we've already killed off the bubbler as soon as it popped up. And just like that, the lead's sitting very heavily in Team Beer's favor, and we might be looking at another quick kill.
Yeah, all they have to do right now is stall it out because, again, they have to cap both zones to even get a penalty. That's going to be 2 quick picks right there for Sammy on that Rapid Blaster Pro. He's able to clean it up really quickly. Team Beer going up 2-0 up against Mom's Cold Spaghetti.
You know, just as I said coming into this, the Rapid Blaster having that splash damage on top of how consistently it's able to fire was really what gave into so much pressure. And that quick double at the end really just sort of sealed the fate of Game 2.
Yeah, right there. Definitely Mom's Cold Spaghetti was trying to make a quick play happen, but wasn't possible right there as Sammy shut that one down quickly. We're going to be getting into the next game as quick as possible here. Tower control, humpback, pump track, and we talked about it earlier. The first checkpoint isn't too important. The second one, and I believe there's a third one as well on this map, is going to be the critical points for both teams trying to get forward.
Yeah, the points on this map definitely a lot less well presented, I would say, than other maps where we see tower control. It's a lot more open-ended, a lot more oriented towards firefights, and we've seen consistently in this set that Team Beer is coming out on top in these firefights. They're a lot more acquainted with being, in the thick of it all, being able to fight back against their opponents. And even though they're a lot more individualized units, they're able to fight back against Mom's Cold Spaghetti's organized play.
And especially for Team Beer, they've got a lot of those frontlining weapons possible because BSME can play the 10-attack splatter, he can play blasters as well. And then you've got Sammy, although he was a Rapid Blaster Pro in that one, he's been known to play Luna Blaster and other weapons like that may favor themselves on a map like Humpback Pump Track where there's so many different angles you can get the enemy on. And that bumpy terrain really shows and excels itself for blasters and sloshers.
Absolutely. One thing I'm looking to see if, as we go into Game 3 is if Mom's Cold Spaghetti is going to change up their weapon array, see if they can do anything to really take advantage of the terrain, see if that can have an impact on staving off some of the momentum that Team Beer's garnered for themselves, because right now it's just sort of been a devastating push from Team Beer.
So far, it seems like Mom's Cold Spaghetti has always been on their heels. Team Beer's managed to push them back pretty much fighting from their spawn in pretty much both games. We saw in that first game, Kelp Dome, we were fighting around that gold pretty much the entire game. It was all in their spawn. So let's see if they're able to mix things up here. Don't want to get caught up on their side of the map once again. Need to establish that early mid control. But if you look at the comp of Team Beer, they've got 2 NZAPs, actually an NZAP 89, which is a very uncommon weapon. But the 2 NZAPs might maintain them that map control in mid early.
Yeah, a bit of a different play from as we saw in the previous 2 games. The double end zaps, coupled by double blasters, leaves a lot more of an orientation for fighting as well as ink control. And we already see Hitter going for that immediate pick, grabbing the tower, and team's looking a bit scattered right now.
Yeah, we do see right there, Mozzie was able to take down Sammy with the use of that Expert Umbrella Shield right there, trying to push back and make sure that no one could come into their spawn. This is exactly what we talked about just 5 seconds ago. They don't want to be fighting from this position. They want to be making sure that they can maintain mid-control right now. Mozzie's in a pretty bad position with suction bombs all around him, and it seems like there's a player that's trying to flank on him as well. So he's going to probably have to get out of this position as most of his team seems to be going down, and it seems to be going in favor of Team Beer.
Although that being said, it's not that significant of a lead from Team Beer right now. We see them able to get these consistent picks, and while they do have the initial coverage, they still haven't gotten that first checkpoint. They haven't had a substantial lead as far as the picks they get. It's really just one or two squids down on the side of Mom's Cold Spaghetti. And I feel like that deserves to have a note made of itself, because whenever we see Team Beer going in for these kills, they're usually able to get a wipe, 3 kills, really sort of make the most out of that push. Whereas here, Mom's Cold Spaghetti is sort of holding their shields up. They're really able to at least keep their defenses going, even if the push is still in Team Beer's favor.
Yeah, right now we do see that Team Beer has moved on past the first checkpoint. That was a quick one to get past. They got through it even in the middle of a fight, so you know it's not that significant of a counter right there, but that second checkpoint already taken down past that one. Now it's getting pretty scary for Mom's Cold Spaghetti. They're going to have to do something really quick to get back into this one, but Team Beer so far is pushing forward. Most of the members are down, and this looks like it's going to be gamed really quick here, Pegman.
Just like that, we were looking at what could have been an even battle, but one solid push, and it's a solid 3-0 in Team Beer's favor. Yeah, Walkie, I think Mom needs to get a new microwave.
Yeah, definitely. They need to change something up right there, because they needed something for that spaghetti to get hot, but wasn't happening here so far. Team Beer definitely popping off right here and feeling good about themselves. Sammy, I believe, on that Rapid Blast has been top fragging pretty much every game, so